All right. Welcome to another episode of Wild and Well Together. He said, she said. What's up, Becca?
Hello, hello. Glad to be here. How are you?
I'm so well. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but I want to just overview what we're going to talk about today. So, for many men, constant digital stimulation becomes a socially acceptable way to avoid stillness, to stay productive, informed, or entertained without ever actually having to sit with what's going on inside or what's going on in our lives. And a digital fast is one way to tap into that. And it really isn't about self-denial. It's about strengthening our inner leadership by removing the noise that keeps us disconnected from our values, our intuition, and our sense of purpose. And I'm taking your word for this. I'm not speaking from like recent experience here. I am hand up. I need one of these. Hand up. I am a doom scroller, particularly these days. We talk about like why that may be, but I'm looking forward to getting into this topic with you and show me the light here because I need some guidance on this one. Before we get into this though, let's start with some high-low buffaloes, and I want you to take it away here.
All right. My high, and we'll get into it real quick. Going back to the topic, I put it on there because it's one of my greatest desires for us as millennials, and I'm included in that. And anyone who struggles with being on our phone, and it's not a shame-based conversation. I want to say that over and over again, especially those that listen right at the beginning. It is not a doomsday conversation. It is not a shame-based conversation. It's, hey, the phones and digital world has taken us over. How can we reclaim some of that? How can we find healing there? And then also for those of us that are families and parents, how do we engage in that in a way that's then modeled to our kids? Because there's a lot of research out. And so Nick will say that this is my soapbox, but it's also my greatest kryptonite. And so I'm also trying to solve for that as well. So that's a little background on why I care about it so deeply. And hello, Buffalo. I thought about the low and the buffalo, which means life is heavy right now. That's what that means, okay? Normally, I'm absolutely a glass half full. I am an eternal optimist, and that was hard to come by. High would be that I got to connect with one of my closest friends. She lives in DC, her and her hubby, and we got some good FaceTime in this week, which we're talking about a positive side of the digital world. We got
Yeah,
some FaceTime in, and clocking those hours is rare in parenthood, and both of us are working moms, so that was really
totally.
low. Is we are a rotating doctor's office right now. I have a little band-aid on my pinky, but that's minute compared to what's happening in our house. I feel like at the age that we're at
Preach.
right now, kids are bringing in new things every day as if we're inviting friends over that are called disease and virus. So that's heavy and hard and annoying. I'll call it what it is. And then Buffalo would be that we have contractors at our house, and they are Spanish speakers, and they're from Guatemala, and I lived in Guatemala for a while. And so we have had really fun conversations in my broken Spanish and in their broken English, and we're
Yeah.
live together. And it's super fun to reminisce about different landmarks in Guatemala and the people and some fun stories. Those are 3 updates for me. What about you? I love Buffalo.
I'm going to start with low, and it's the same as yours, is sickness. List of issues with sickness. We all got sick over the holidays, scheduled to have this foot surgery to with all these things in my foot that are from athletics background and other stuff. I got too sick. So I go into the operating, not into the operating room, but in the triage area. And the anesthesiologist comes, we can't do this surgery on you. So they boot me out of the surgery center.
Which is our worst nightmare.
Oh, by the way, the mother-in-law has been brought in. We've arranged all this. It's a multi-family effort to get me this surgery.
Time off work, all
The
of the
time
things.
off work. Yeah. So what then ensues is I get sicker and sicker. My mother-in-law gets so sick. The kids have gotten another round of sickness. Yes, that has definitely been the low. I also, as you mentioned it, do you ever observe ceremonial passing of germs from one family to another at a birthday party when you see your child with their hands in their mouth and then like, touch the thing with then another child and you go, oh gosh, that was the moment. That was the moment.
If we don't laugh, we'll cry, yes.
Yeah, laugh and all you can do is laugh or cry through it. My high is, I will say, I've had many moments of gratitude after this surgery. For instance, off of painkillers within a really fast time period. This went way better than I thought it would. Being thankful that I'm able to do the things that I'm normally able to do, the perspective of being on crutches or body capability is something I take for granted because I'm like, oh, I didn't do that 12th rep or whatever it may be. But the reality is my body's very capable in normal circumstances. So I've had many moments of gratitude over the last week as a result of this surgery thing. And then my buffalo was in my panic going into this surgery, my subconscious of do everything. We did an orange juice stand. The girls and I did an orange juice stand, and we had a blast. It was great. They sold out on day 2 in an hour. It was great.
That's
So,
incredible.
little entrepreneurs, and it was great. They were bought in. I didn't I mean, I showed them what we needed to do, but they were on day 2, they were, "All right, we're going to pick oranges at 8 in the morning in the backyard," and then we set it all up and they crushed it. It was good.
So it is from farm to table at your house.
Yard to stand, the total distance traveled for these oranges is 75 feet.
Okay, organic. So will there be further sales?
We're gonna come back with a lemonade stand, with more orange juice stands too. They've made some money. We just need to go spend some of that money so that they get a real appetite for it. I think this is, I think this is gonna we're gonna this might become a tax issue for us. I think we're gonna have to Cora's gonna have to start issuing some 1099s or something. This is a good problem to have.
I love that, and how fun for you. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business guy, so to get to see them doing that, and let's call it what it is, your sales, your social,
That's
you
right. I mean,
you get a little lift
I
too.
will say the sales training on my part was a little heavy-handed. There was a moment it was, "Girls, we don't let a car pass without waving. Do you understand me? Not a single car or walker goes by without waving." And they're like, "Yes, dad." So,
And they cry.
yeah, that part I was very heavy-handed on. After they got it, though, after they read the SOP and the training manual, they were up and running.
And what are they gonna spend it on to get a little taste of the results and the rewards? Will it be Legos,
Oh,
Barbies,
no,
food?
something way more frivolous, like, it'll probably be a ring pop or a little f but it doesn't matter. They just need the feeling of, "I want that thing and I can buy it from the
Love it.
money that I made." I don't mean to genuflect. This can get into genuflection here, so but this is our personal thing, and we learned this from another friend. They get to keep 60%, they donate 20%, and they invest 20%.
Okay.
You know, welcome
Yeah,
to the real world. You pay taxes. This is
yeah,
our version of
I love that.
taxes, saving, investing, all that stuff.
What do you call that term? You don't mean to what?
Genuflect,
Yeah.
look at me, look at my moral high ground here, but we learned this from a friend. I think it is really good to teach early on because I don't know about you, but I remember my first paycheck and going, "Wait, that's what I get to take home?
Yeah.
What what are the taxes? Oh, they're so real."
Yes. No, I love that, and so, again, that term, yes, people may throw shade or utilize that, but however, I know your heart, I know your disposition, and so that's so helpful for us, though, to think about of how do we model that? Here we're talking modeling breath work, we're talking about modeling gratitude, we're talking about modeling digital fasting and not giving our kids phones until a certain age, some of those things, and that is something where I'm like, how do we do that then from a genuine place of finance and money and generosity too? And so, okay, love that. Lemonade stand all the way through business. Now we're in the graduate level of business class or business 102 instead. You're giving them 101 and 102.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they've got an appetite for it, and it's also I'm seeing more in the way of, like, children don't get paid for chores that don't add value. Cleaning your room, that's not adding value. And learning the process of taking oranges and making orange juice, just a little bit of work adds value to people. So that is what I hope to instill. We are early on this journey, early, but that is the aspiration is that all my kids, and it starts with the girls now, are learning how money is made, how to steward it, what it gets you, what it doesn't get you. We're just doing the next thing, the next incremental thing, I think. So more to come on this. I wish I had a clear 10-step plan of how I'm going to teach my kids about money. I understand how money gets made through work, through creativity, through delivering value. And then the next piece of it is saving and investing and why you do spending, saving, and investing. What do
Yeah.
these things mean to me and why do I do them?
Love that.
That's the
And the
goal.
disposition that we hold within that as we teach it. Are we tight-fisted? Are we angry? What
Totally.
attached, or do we do it with a giving heart and we're excited and also strategic and focused and stuff? So
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
That's a good point.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. What about as far as let's go in then to the next segment. I always
Yeah, you ready to talk what you
from
playing chicken with?
yeah, here we go.
Okay, it's that dangerous game we play where we stared out our chores, wait for someone braver than us to blink, and we decide which one of us is finally gonna be the hero and do the dreaded thing. So, what are you playing chicken with this week?
Yes, we are having I just was speaking about construction in our house. And we are remodeling our primary bathroom. And in that, we have gotten rid of things in our closet. And then that forced us to say, okay, kids, what are some toys that no longer serve us or we can give to others, creating this pile of clothes and different things to give away and recycle and all that. And so that is sitting downstairs on its way out and it's been there for a week plus. and it's growing, which is great. That means we're getting rid of things that no longer serve us, and yet it's not leaving. And so we have not gotten rid of it. So it's not like I'm here saying, "Oh, I've done it," or "Nick's done it." Right now, the chicken is growing, or the again artwork. We're really great at designing artwork piles in our house, whether
Yep.
trash, recycle, regift. So that's what's going on in our life. What about you?
So mine's basically the same. And what I love about that, by the way, is that part of the justification of why we don't get to it is because we're adding to the piles. Oh no, that needs to stay because we're not done. This work is not complete. We are finding more things to give. There's a box that is like neatly packed, ready to go of hand-me-downs by the front door. It's been sitting there for 3 weeks. It's needed to go to my friend's house, which is 300 yards away. I pass by there at least twice a day. In my pre-surgery lizard brain, do everything that needs to be done, I finally took care of it, but that thing became a wallflower for 3 weeks, and I finally knocked it out.
So funny. I just saw something of, and maybe you already knew this life hack, but if it takes 3 minutes or less, just do it. Getting rid of this, taking it to the Goodwill or taking it to some sort of place, that takes more than 3 minutes. So that doesn't play into there, but that's been a good life hack for me. Of if I look at it, so maybe 300 yards, that might be 3 minutes, right? Go do it now. So that's a hack. Is if it's under 3 minutes, or if it's 3 minutes or less, handle it right now. If it's
Yeah.
more than that, handle it when you need to. But that's something I need to continue to focus on so I can not have these artwork displays growing.
They become a piece of decor in the house, pretty soon if you don't if you don't monitor it. You pose this idea of digital detox, and frankly, this has been an uncomfortable one for me because I know I need it. A I wanna understand how you define digital detox here in a second, but I am as guilty as the next here with scrolling an ever decreasing attention span as a result of what's being on the phone. I also think that we tend to blame ourselves. Look, we should take accountability for it, but I think there's a lot of forces at B that incentivize us being on the phone and short hits of dopamine as parents and as working professionals, for speaking on behalf of maybe both of us here. But as we went into this topic, this is not one that I sit comfortably with and go, I got you. Here's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm looking forward to you telling and sharing some ways with me to do this. I have a couple thoughts of what I think this has given me when I've done this in snippets, but show me your ways on this one.
So I'm in the same boat as you. One of my least favorite habits about myself is that I take my phone to bed and or it's right next to it's on my bedside table. And so one of my least favorite things about that is I look at things as I'm heading to bed. And again, it may be political. It might be something that's happening geopolitically, internationally, or it might be something totally random. But then I go down this rabbit trail for the next 25 minutes and I've lost again 25 minutes of sleep, which then affects us longer REM cycles, all that due to the screens and different things. So this is me saying, how can I take this back? Like I said in the beginning, one of the very first things to say is delay the first scroll of the day by 10 minutes. So if we're someone who has our phone right next to us, go brush your teeth first. Go, don't take the phone to the bathroom. Or, and if that's not something that's hard for you, if you don't enjoy it till an hour into the day, then become aware of when do I start using my phone. Sometimes for us, it's emails, right? Where I climb into bed and I'm like, oh, let me just check that last thing. That is the dumbest thing I could do
Yeah.
because I know that whatever's coming to my inbox, I'm going to then process it. And maybe it's a 2 minute process, or maybe it's then a 2 hour process. And so starting to just think through how do we have a healthier relationship with our phone from a work stance, a relational stance, an entertainment stance, and starting to get that. So we'll get into practical tools. But I have a question back to you is what are some fun things that you do enjoy about your phone?
There's humor, whether that's from a group text, but more frequently, it could be a comedian, it could be a creator that's creating something relatable. So that's one piece of it. Fishing. I learned a lot about fishing from my phone, new tactics, new places to fish, new places to add to my bucket list fish, and then staying informed of the world without a doubt. So I'd say those are the top three.
Cool. And for me, it's connection to people. I'm married into an international family. I have family across the country. And so I love it for that. I'm same as you where I learn new skills and I laugh a lot. I think my algorithm pulls so many whale and ocean animal like things. So what does that say about me? But it's so cool. I would not get to see things about I live in a landlocked state. I would not get to see on a regular basis things around the world that I do care about, that I do want to see that are positive for me. So I bring that up first because I want us to think about, oh, it's not that this is some vice that is negative and horrific and we need to completely cut out of our life. The reason I say fast or detox is we need, and I think fast is actually more appropriate because it's this idea of a spiritual connection or this idea of a connection that when I remove myself from it, it's so I can put something else more meaningful into that space.
Yeah, yeah.
Saying my digital fast, I need to train my brain instead digital detox. My digital fast is for this day or for these 5 hours, right? Deep dives could come into play. If I turn my phone off for 5 hours during a workday, no kids are home, no hubby's home, I can get into really deep research work or mental health work or for Wild and Well Together, whatever it may be. But I could take deep dives into those things. When I have my phone, and let's say I'm doing that research, and my phone bings and it's a notification from school of pictures of my kids. I'm, oh, cool. And then while I'm looking at that, an email comes up and now I need to respond to a student. And then while I'm responding to the student, oh, Nick sent me 2 texts, which of course I want to chat with my hubby.
Yep,
So the span of 5, 10, 20 minutes, I've just gone from really deep work, creative, focused work that is important to now
yeah,
research shows it takes 20 minutes for us of disconnection to get right back into the space that we were just in. So now instead of saying, oh, I have 5 hours of good time, I've taken 20 plus minutes being on my phone, and now I've had an additional 20. So I'm at 40 minutes out
yep,
of what I could be doing. So that's
yeah.
just an example of a reason why it's important for us to take space away.
No, I wanna build on that. I think that my experience of why I tend to pick this up is it is the rule, not the exception, that I'm switch tasking all the time. If I'm at work, there's 4 email threads going, and I'm working really hard to carve out time for deep thinking work and to not switch tasks because we're not as productive. But inevitably, there's the octopus tentacles are out there, and there's 8 things going on at once that I need to move incrementally throughout the course of the day or the week. And then, okay, so the workday is done. I've been switch tasking all day, and it's little hits of dopamine. When you get the result, you push a little bit of work forward. We've got 3 kids. They all have distinct needs. One wants this thing to eat, the other wants this. I'm switch tasking between the kids. So my brain is constantly moving through get this done, get this done. It's in doing versus like just in go mode, right? And there's hits of dopamine of finishing of task completion.
So coming back into this space, you had just talked about how we have switch tasking and the different dopamine hits of you jump on your phone, go through 10 different activities or whatnot. What does that look like practically? And so one of the things that I want to share is when we have our phone with us at all times, it is equivalent to us favorite candies. So imagine if there was a bowl of peanut M&Ms in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your workplace, in your car, at the dinner table, at the gym, anywhere else.
Wow.
Like pick a place because that's what's happening is our phone is with us at majority of the time, if not all times. So we have to physically create different engagements with our phone. Sometimes it's proximity, sometimes it's putting different apps or programs or shutting down some of them. So we'll get into those, but I wanted to put it practically with what is happening. Digital detox isn't about willpower. It's about awareness, values, and connection. I want us to remove the guilt. Right now, there's a lot of guilt that we hold around it of, oh, I could be better. And instead saying, what's the awareness I have around it? How can I value that? And then what's the connection to it? And so we'll go through a few of these. Again, these are ones that I use with clients. It's not therapeutic. However, it is evidence based and psychology based tools to help us. And so jump in whenever. And please share what you're learning or what you have learned because your life experience is equally as valued to this.
Okay.
So, first one would be scroll aligned or scroll avoidant. This is a values based. So, it's this idea of before scrolling or after scrolling, a reflection. Did this move me more toward or away the life I want? So, for example, sometimes when I'm scrolling and I see turtles and scuba divers and these men and women that can hold their breath for 7 minutes and take deep dives and see orcas and humpback whales, that is incredible.
Pretty cool.
I'll take it. But sometimes I see a whole lot of other things where I'm, dang, was that worth my time? Did that elevate me? Did that not? So, 2 mental buckets: mind scrolls, learning, laughing, real connection, and then avoidance scrolls, which would be numbing, parasites, dissociation, sometimes
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So, it's not about less phone; it's about finding meaning with what we're doing.
Okay. Okay. That is helpful. It's a really helpful distinction.
So, yes, just starting to have that relationship of even awareness with my phone. Is this helpful? Is it not? Then we move into what is my phone promising me? This goes into more of this thought awareness and reframing. So, when you reach for your phone, pause and think, what will this give me right now? Is it relief? Is it connection? Is it escape? A lot of times, mine's escape. I
Totally.
just want to not think of anything else besides receiving, taking in, consuming. And so thinking through, and then the reflection again, this is still in the awareness phase of these processes, is did it actually give me that time? Did it actually give me that result last time? And for how long? Because sometimes it does. Sometimes it gives me that connection, it gives me that escape, it gives me that relief, but for how long? So my phone promises me relief, but what am I actually needing? So that's the next one. These both take reflection. I just get on my phone and I don't even think about these things. The purpose of doing this is to say, hey, let's start having awareness around it. All right. Then the next one is who benefits from me being on here right now? Us as parents. Sometimes this gets into more of narrative psychological work, but externalizing the problem and saying the problem isn't me, it's the system. So asking myself, who benefits from my attention right now? Is it the ads? Is it my friends sometimes online? Or is it my cousins across the pond over in the UK? Who is it that benefits? Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not. And then is this aligned with how I want to connect with someone? Again, WhatsApp or some of these things are awesome. I get to call my 95-year-old grandma. That's fantastic. She
Yeah.
lives in another. They're starting to think through and re-authoring the story to my attention is a resource. I choose where it goes.
Got it. That's
So now we're starting to have agency. We've gone from awareness to agency in this.
love it. Keep going.
All right. We don't break habits, we replace habits. So adding friction, move apps off the home screen. That is you take Instagram off of your phone and now you've moved it onto your computer. And I know you've said your engagement with it still, goes up and down. I have it on both.
Mhm.
So you have one less likely chance to engage than I do. So saying, what can I take off my home screen and or where can I remove it? Then log out at night. I know it's annoying for us to log out of things. Do we remember our passwords? Probably not. But nonetheless, that's just another one to create friction.
Yeah.
And then the third one would be use grayscale after a certain hour or have some sort of app to offload and saying, okay, at 8 p.m., I don't need to be engaged with anything. My sleep, my rest means more. And then add a replacement. Give your hand something else. I was thinking about you. What's something you would do is you might go grab a stick from outside and start whittling. Maybe you'll become this little hand carver, right? Something for our hands tangibly do. And so for me, it might be a tea ritual at the end of the night. I love sipping on tea, the ambiance, all of that. Maybe it's a puzzle at night. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's stretching. Like homegirl over here loves her yoga.
Yeah.
But something that could even be done. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. Maybe that's helpful, but it might just be even something in my hands. Do I learn how to paint for the first time in a while?
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing your whittled owls, bears, pigeons.
I think what's more realistic is actually under this desk, the infamous desk that I was locked out of. The bottom of it is full of fly tying supplies that I have not. That was given to me by my friend, and I had tied flies in over 10 years. And I don't really have an excuse now because I have all of it right here. And so that should probably be, instead of whittling, I think that would be my preferred thing to replace scrolling with. Less chance of cutting myself and fewer wood shavings across the house too.
Yeah.
But I appreciate, I do appreciate you assigning that much creativity to me.
Yes. Okay, let's get into creativity then because that's one of the things that we know when we replace screen time,
Yeah.
then it allows for creativity. So head into that
Yeah,
space if you
exactly.
will.
I was thinking about this, there's some big concepts in here that we've discussed, which is agency, spirituality. I also think the stakes can be much lower for us. This can be very leisurely. And I think what it gets us and what it gets me, better inputs and better outputs. And what I mean by that is when I'm not consuming media that is intended to be consumed 30 seconds, 6 seconds at a time, or a minute max, but because I'm not doing that and I'm getting my brain back to consuming a longer form of media, reading a magazine article, reading a book, even watching a movie or interacting with art in some capacity, someone's creation, right? I would argue that that is a better input. I don't want to minimize creators out there, but I think the way that this impacts our brain on a long term, I have to believe that that is better for us to read a 1,000-word article rather than just like watching 6 reels or 6 TikToks, right?
Science backs that. So you're
Okay,
right.
good. So that's one piece of it is better intakes. And I want to put movies back in the mix here too. I was listening to a podcast on Rogan with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and they were talking about how movies are made these days in the age of streaming. And they asked that writers reinforce the plot 3 to 4 times throughout the course of the movie because they're banking on such short attention spans and people scrolling while they watch. That's the
Totally.
reality that they're faced with as a creator, right? As a creative these days. So I want to get back to, I want to watch a movie without any other distraction.
Mm,
That used to be the peak form of entertainment for us, is
yeah.
being able to watch a movie. Now I'm scrolling as I'm watching the slow parts of a movie. Ridiculous. So I started Braveheart, 3 hours of Braveheart. And I
Freedom!
didn't finish because fell asleep, okay? But I'm gonna watch Braveheart, and I'm not gonna scroll while I do it. So that's better inputs, and then better outputs. This week, the kids came home, the girls came home, the phones were down. We didn't call this out, but as I was thinking through this topic, none of us were on our devices. The TV didn't come on after school, and the amount of creativity that my girls showed was amazing. Like one night we did charades. Cora's like comes in and was like, "We're gonna play charades, everyone." So everyone went around doing charades for about 45 minutes. And then the next night, at Chambers Family Household First, we had a fashion show. It was
Get
a
it, get it,
fashion
get
show.
it, get it.
I'm talking all the stuffed animals lying down the hallway, the adults on one end, and like 6 different outfits from each of the girls. And this doesn't happen if the girls are watching TV or Miriam and I are distracted on our phones. So I come back to better inputs and better outputs, which is creativity. And I'm hopeful. I've been promised a concert tonight. So fingers crossed. I think I'm going to get another performance tonight if we can set up the same parameters.
I love that. Are we hearing from Elsa? Are we hearing from Jay Beebs and Troll? No, not
It's
Jay
going to be
Beebs,
more
Justin
like
Timberlake.
Taylor Swift, but a lot of this is just these days there's some Cora originals that the writing sounds very Taylor Swift-esque. So those are our favorite though. Yeah, when you get
Come on.
some originals that come up and the lyrics that kind of make sense but also really don't. That's
Love it.
gold right
That's the
there.
best. That's the best, right? And that's the dream. As you were sharing that, especially with being on the screens again, the TV screens, the movie screens, watching those, for whatever reason, I thought about back in the day, like growing up, I'm picturing us sitting on the couch, my siblings and I. And remember when we would watch a show, pick Saturday Night Live, pick Disney, whatever it was, but we would be watching a show, cartoons on Saturday morning. Hey, we're watching it. We're all sitting there. We don't have any phones or anything. We're just sitting there watching. And then it goes to commercial. And we're like, bathroom break, drink break,
Yeah,
run. But one of the siblings would keep their butt on the seat so that way they could holler at the end and be like, it's on, it's on. And we would sprint
absolutely.
back, jump on the couch as if we were about to watch the next, I don't know, greatest talk that has ever been given. And
Yeah,
we're like, okay, glued back in. But that was like excitement around that. And so it was totally different than what it is now. If you're right, I have my computer often with me working. I have my phone with me working or scrolling or doing whatever while we're watching. We're going through Andor right now, which is again super nerdy,
I've heard it's
fantastic. If
great.
you like Star Wars,
I've heard
fantastic.
it's great. Yeah,
And Nick and I have said, like, we've committed to, hey, let's put our phones down.
yeah.
Let's let that be a date night. And we're hooked. We are hooked now. So
Okay,
cheers again. Star Wars is fantastic. And specifically Andor. I hope it goes far and continues to create seasons because excellent.
I
And
gotta
so
check it out.
fascinating. Did not know that creators are writers and creators for movies are having to script in the theme. Like think about us then as the consumers and as the people watching, as the audience saying, time's not worth it.
Yeah,
Or can you accommodate? And they're strategic, so they're going to. But nonetheless, it says a lot of what's happening to our brain. And science will say that our gray matter is shrinking or different things are happening to our brain than synapses and neural pathways and stuff. But wow, I didn't know that. So I hope the
yeah.
concert is fabulous tonight. Anything else that's coming up for you?
I just also recognize this is hard. This is not going to be easy. And it may also, taking a partner with this, I think is the way I think about how this is realistic, right? An accountability partner. In this case, a spouse could be a roommate, whatever it is, but that's kind of like a diet. It's really hard for the other person in the couple to not be in a diet. We kind of have to both agree to these parameters like you and Nick did watching Andor. That's my only other, as I think about how I'm going to do this. That's it right there.
Love it. Can't wait to see the ties that I mean,
The flies.
um, the flies, the ties, the flies that you tie. I can't wait to see those. And yeah, look forward to whatever I come up with. I'll commit to something, figuring out something new, creative, maybe Susie Homemaker over here or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But great.
Don't
Yeah,
hold your breath on these flies, but when I tie some, I will send them to you. Actually, I'll send them to you and get your feedback on which one you think I should be using next when I go fishing. Okay.
love it. Please do. Yeah, I can't wait to see the colors and stuff. A fun fact for anyone listening and for you in the state of Colorado, one of the rehabilitation hopes and commitments of our penal system of the penitentiaries in Colorado is to teach men tactical skills, practical skills,
Yeah.
and one of them is tying flies.
Nice.
And so many of our flies that are sold in both local and corporate fly shops,
Yeah.
different places, is from our state
I
penitentiaries,
did
and
not
just
know that. That's
as
so
a
cool.
gift
And
of
those have been Those because most commercial like, most of the flies that you buy at a fly shop are now tied in Thailand or in Southeast Asia. So that's really cool that they're being tied domestically by
Yeah.
inmates. That's awesome. Yeah,
Anyways, just a fun fact that I know, random fun fact that I know about tying flies. So, all
yeah.
right, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
thank you for joining us on another great episode of Wild and Well Together. He said, she said. We will see y'all next week. Have a fabulous weekend and a week ahead.
All right. Until next time.